the union of Scotland and England. That is what Britain is. So they really want it both ways. They can't possibly, in today's climate, bring themselves to dump upon the Olympics and the Paralympics. They have to say, we're supporting Team GB. It's complete rubbish. It's complete nonsense. But my overall point is, the underlying point, which wasn't brought out, obviously, by Nicola Sturgeon, is that it's not simply for the Scots. It's not simply the right of the Scots to vote on independence.
Yes.
English voters should, because what the Scots are going to be voting on is not simply independence for Scotland, it's the breakup of the United Kingdom.
Well, we've got another couple of years to talk about this. Everyone looking forward to it. So, as we've been discussing, the government wants to build its way out of recession. Labour thinks a wealth tax might do the trick, but believe it or not, some businesses are doing very well indeed already. Giles is on the green, in the sunshine.
Joe, it has to be said, you and I spend so much of our time trying to get out of politicians who think they know how to generate growth in this country, that we should spend some time talking to some people who actually know the secret of growth because they're growing their businesses. 3 entrepreneurs with me. I have with me Ollie Christie, Tarek Malouf and Craig Anstey. Your company, Neon Play, makes phone apps, got a fantastic bakery, 5 shops across the smarter parts of London, and you restore floors.
That's right.
You started your business, Neon Play. What is it, 6 million downloads a year you're getting? You started this in the middle of a recession. Are you bonkers?
Well, at the time it felt it was a bit scary, but we felt that the smartphone market was booming so quickly that it was actually, even though the economy was in downturn, the smartphone market was in upturn. And we've had 40 million downloads in 2.5 years, so it's been a great experience.
What is the secret to setting something like that up? Was it the fact that you had experience of the industry, but you just hadn't done it yourself? Or was it that actually this is a country where entrepreneurism is fostered?
I think you need an idea initially. Experience definitely helps because every experience is a good experience. And from then you just need to have the bravery and the courage to go forward, take your ideas, believe in your concept and push it through.
So never mind courage to burgle houses, it's courage to set up on your own. Tarek, your business started before the recession kicked in,
yes.
But in some ways you're so busy baking cupcakes, it's almost recession, what recession? How did that work for you?
Well, yes, we were always busy from almost day one, and we just kind of didn't even realize there was a recession. It sounds silly, but we've always been busy and kept on going.
With a 5 million turnover, that's pretty successful stuff. What's interesting about you is, of the other 2, you are employing a huge number of people. That's 120 people.
Yes.
Every time you put on a new shop and new growth, you can stand up and say, I'm actually generating employment.
That's true. Each new shop will have about 20 to 25 new hires, I suppose. Yeah. So.
You can't do that, though. I mean, it's not that you're not generating employment, you're generating wealth, but there's nothing like in the employment on that scale, is it?
No, we're very small. We have 5 people that we employ at the moment, but we've kind of reached our capacity, if you like. We've grown over the last couple of years, and we're at that stage now where we need to make that next step up.
Is that your economic capacity, where your business is at, or because the climate is such, through regulation or whatever, that means you couldn't employ more?
No, it's a bit of both. We're taking on as much work as we can do. It's not because there's not work out there, it's because we literally reached our capacity. So we're at that stage now where we need to look at employing more people to be able to take on the extra workload that we've got.
Now, you played a lot of football, and then you went to university, and then you immediately set up a flooring company. I mean, yeah, because as you do.
Yep.
Do you think this country is somewhere that fosters entrepreneurialism?
I think there are a lot of people out there that can do what the 3 of us have done and start their own business and move forward. A lot of them, it is the risk, it's taking the risk, and it's also looking at ways in which they can get help in terms of the finance of starting a new business.
Is that because we have created a climate where that risk is very dangerous and very real, or that we're by a natural British, we're fairly cautious?
I think there's a little bit of concern there, and I think it's funding as well. It takes a lot of money sometimes to start a business. Some are lower investment, others are higher investment. But the more the government can help in that area, it's clearly going to be beneficial to boost funding.
What would one thing the government could do for someone like you that would make life easier and you could grow even more?
It's more a local government thing. Its business rates are really, really high if you have actual shops.
And what about for you 2 national insurance contributions?
Yeah, it's difficult for us because we employ a small number of people. There's obviously employers' national insurance contributions we have to pay every time we take on a new member of staff. So that has a big effect on whether or not we do take on people. We have to factor that into our budget. The other thing for us, because we deal a lot with the consumer, is the level of VAT at the moment.
Would you all agree that VAT is a problem?
Yes.
It is. I think NI is very important. I think small companies should have no NI for the first 10 employees, because that first getting the company off the ground is the hardest stage of any business. And if the government can sort that.
Good growth stories there from three people. Good messages for politicians about what they can do. The only dark side is we aren't awash with cupcakes, and that's because somebody forgot. Never mind. Back to you, Joe.
Thanks for that, Giles. It's tough at the top. Now, after the initial excitement of the reshuffle died down, over in the House of Commons, ministers started getting their feet under the table and got down to business in their new departments. Patrick McLaughlin, the new Transport Minister, was in position yesterday for a Labour-led debate on rail fares. For nearly 20 years, he's been a whip. And by convention, whips don't speak in debates. So he finally got to break his silence.
The rising cost of rail travel is now adding to the financial pressures facing many households. That is a fact. I would hope that there can be agreement